When we do not know a person, and also when we do, we have to judge the size and nature of his achievements as compared with achievements of others in his special line of business. There's no other way. Measured by this standard, it is 1,300 years since the world has produced anyone who could reach up to Mrs. Eddy's waist belt. In several ways, she is the most interesting woman that ever lived, and the most extraordinary. Mark Twain.
The recent news of my death has been greatly exaggerated. Please forgive me if you're having trouble hearing me in the back. Suffering from a bit of a cold. Mrs. Eddy would have it as a belief of a cold. It's horrible to be old at my age. My lovely young maid, Katie Leary, offered me a prescription. She said, "My mama already swore by this in Dublin. If you have a cold, the way to break that cold is to knock it out with a quarter whiskey in one go." Beautiful and luxurious Plaza Hotel to telephone my very best friend, who happened to be my editor, who was to accompany me here. Upon hearing of my dilemma, as chance would have it, proposed the exact same remedy. That makes half a gallon. I said, "Hurry, I'm at the bar and this cure is killing me." You can hear the results of my medication libation. He suggested the following. He said, "Mark, now you've had your fill, you just order sarsaparilla. That's all you do, just say sarsaparilla." I said, "All right, Angel. But when I've had my fill, I can't say sarsaparilla."
Oh, I got no qualms with Christian Scientists, just that money-grubbing plagiarist and swindler Mary Baker Glover Patterson Eddy, too good to even see me. No, I got no qualms with the doctrine at all. After all, good people, Christian Scientist believes that the Spirit of God, life and love, pervades the universe like an atmosphere. That whosoever will study science and health can get from it the secret of how to inhale that transforming air. That to breathe it is to be made new. That from the new man all sorrow, all cares, all miseries of the mind vanish away. That it purifies the body from disease, which is a vicious creation of the gross human mind, and cannot continue to exist in the presence of the immortal mind, the renewing Spirit of God. She has delivered to them a religion which has revolutionized their lives, banished the glooms that shadowed them, and filled them and flooded them with sunshine and gladness and peace. A religion which has no hell. The religion whose heaven is not put off to another time with a break and a gulf between, but begins here and now, and melts into eternity as fancies of the waking day melt into the dreams of sleep. They believe it is a Christianity that is in the New Testament, that it has always been there, that in the drift of ages it was lost through disuse and neglect, and that this benefactor has found it and given it back to man, turning the night of life into day, its terrors into myths, its lamentations into songs of emancipation and rejoicing. Emancipation and rejoicing. Well, yes, sir, don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. Now, Mrs. Eddy believes that every aspect of the human experience is an illusion, maintains this is exactly what Jesus Christ himself taught his disciples, and claims the very gospel sanctified truth is what healed the sick and raised the dead then, but that she and she alone has discovered this rule of healing and has named it and copyrighted it and made millions from it. Christian Science! Science! Well, healing is now a science. Well, you can't depend on your judgment when your imagination's out of focus. Immortality for everyone, don't matter what sins or hell you live in or born from. Hell yes, immortality. Let us believe in it. It has been the belief of the wise and the thoughtful of many countries for 3,000 years. Let us accept their verdict. We cannot frame one that's more reasonable or probable. One of the proofs of the immortality of the soul is that myriads have believed it. They also believe the world was flat. I was always told that I was a sickly and precarious and tiresome and uncertain child, and lived mainly on allopathic medicines during the first 7 years of my life. I asked my mother about this in her old age. She was in the 88th year. And I said, I suppose that during all that time you were uneasy about me. Mama said, yes, the whole time. Afraid I wouldn't live, I said. Mama said, no. Afraid you would.
Point of fact, I have been under the weather. Doctor, of course, said, I'm on the verge of being a very sick man. Well, that may be true enough. While I'm lying in bed today trying to persuade his cantankerous, rebellious medicines to agree with each other. But when I come out at night, I get a welcome like this. I feel as young and happy as anybody. And as for being on the verge of a very truly sick man, I get along with Mrs. Eddy. I don't take any stock in that. After all, I've been on the verge of being an angel all my life. And it hasn't happened yet.
When we do not know a person, and also when we do, we have to judge the size and nature of his achievements as compared with achievements of others in his special line of business. There's no other way. Measured by this standard, it is 1,300 years since the world has produced anyone who could reach up to Mrs. Eddy's waist belt. In several ways, she is the most interesting woman that ever lived. and the most extraordinary. Mark Twain.